graduated from Huron High and received her undergraduate degree as well as her master's in architecture from the University of Michigan. As a senior principal at A3C Collaborative Architecture, she focused on sustainability and she continues to promote education and advocacy for a carbon neutral future. Jan is active in Scioto Township, serving as chair of the Planning Commission and leads the Environmental Sustainability Task Force. She also advocates for the architectural profession and the environment as the co-chair of the American Institute of Architects, Michigan's Government Advocacy Committee. Thank you very much. So welcome everyone, and I just want to get an idea of how many are here kind of because of the business thing. Raise your hand. And how many are here with a congregational focus? All right, great. That gives me an idea. Yes.
I have one that it's not. I live in a high rise, and a lot of the rules that govern climate adjustment are different and sometimes more difficult, and they're more like commercial than they are private families.
Yeah, is it a condo or is it
condo.
a rental? Yeah, that's a real tough one, I'll tell you.
Okay.
Just because of the way DTE does their aggregation of data. They won't do it for condos. So, yeah. But, all right, so what can we do together? We can do a boat load together. And so let's explore that. Okay, the decarbonization roadmap is actually pretty easy, all right? You want to benchmark and track your energy use. You want to conduct an energy audit, improve your energy efficiency, and transition to renewables, all right? It's a pretty easy process. The details get a little funky, but the 2030 district is here to help. Any commercial multifamily, basically anything that's not single family, residential, or unfortunately condo. All right, so I'm going to start with number one, benchmarking. How many of you are, most of you are congregations, how many of you are benchmarking your energy use as a congregation? We've got a couple people, and they are members of the 2030 district, yes. So if you really can't manage what you can't measure, that's sort of the quotes there. So it's very important to start with benchmarking. And I'll say a lot about the 2030 district because that's what I'm doing. And the 2030 district provides free benchmarking services. So to all of our members. And guess what? Membership is free. All right, so as a member, you only get benefits. Okay, we use Energy Star Portfolio Manager. It is used all across the country by all sorts of different building types to benchmark their energy use. And DTE has a pilot program that will automatically input your energy use into Energy Star Portfolio Manager, and we can help you, file the paperwork to get that done. They do not yet put solar in, so if you do have a solar array, you have to do that manually. I hear that's going to change. Fingers crossed. The other thing is, if you're within the city of Ann Arbor and get city water, we're working with the city of Ann Arbor now. They will automatically put your water use in too, so you can benchmark your energy and your water. Okay, well, what does that look like to benchmark? Well, basically, what you look at is your natural gas use and your electric use, and you want to see, this is site EUI, which is how much total energy, whether it's your solar energy, your power you're getting from DTE, or your natural gas use, it combines it all into what's called kBTUs per square foot. And that's sort of like the miles per gallon for a building, an EUI. So you want to see an EUI that's kind of going down as you're working through all of these energy efficiency modes. And now Energy Star Portfolio Manager also calculates greenhouse gas emissions. So you can also see your greenhouse gas emissions going down, which is more important. The other thing, DTE puts all your energy use into what's called the data hub. And the data hub is actually kind of nice because you can highlight a certain year and see your energy use. So you can compare, okay, if I'm doing some of these energy improvements and efficiency improvements or retro commissioning or any of these things, you can actually see how that use declines, hopefully. Or you can also see if you get it, if it's going up. So both of these, Energy Star Portfolio Manager and the Data Hub that DTE provides, are very useful tools. So what do you do with this? Well, the next step is an energy audit. And lo and behold, if you're a member of the 2030 district, we will provide you with up to $5,000 for an energy audit. And that generally will do about 40,000 square feet. And then we have if you have a very large building, it's 12 cents a square foot, which no energy auditor anywhere in Michigan will charge you, that low a price for doing an energy audit. These are level 2 energy audits, and this I just brought the summary page if anyone wants to take a look at what an energy audit provides you. But there's I think a 54-page appendix that goes along with this that we can, if you're interested in knowing more about, I can show it to you online. So if you already have an energy audit and you want to use your energy management grant for something else, retro commissioning, all right? What's retro commissioning? It's HVAC systems, your hot water systems, don't always work as they were initially designed. Things have been tweaked, they get old, whatever. Retro commissioning is done by an engineer who comes in and runs your systems through the paces and can look at your controls, etc., and identifies ways that you can improve the efficiency of your current systems. This is a retro commissioning report. I'll have these out in the networking area if anyone wants to take a look at them. So that's, again, energy efficiency. Next is, okay, let's say you've replaced your lighting, you've fine-tuned your HVAC equipment is getting old, it's time for replacement. We need a decarbonization plan, all right? So a decarbonization plan is a plan over multiple years to actually transition to a clean energy, all renewable energy electrification. People call decarbonization electrification, transition to clean energy, all of those terms. So depending what kind of systems you have in your building, there's probably a way that makes sense to decarbonize, okay? So the energy management grant that the 2030 district has, you can use that for anything. We'll meet you where you are, what your building needs, and help you, hop on the path to decarbonization. So, congregations. There is Energy Star has sort of a really fun treasure hunt. And right before the pandemic, we actually did this with a couple congregations. And it involves the congregation in basically an energy audit of your facility. And what's neat about it is it teaches people what to look for in their homes and their businesses, etc. So it's a really good education tool. So if you wanted to do your energy audit via a treasure hunt, we'll support you in doing that. And we have engineers that really work well because sometimes it's harder for people to understand the systems, especially if you have a boiler or something like that. But the engineer will then assist, and you have little teams that go around and go cover your facility and actually do the energy audit and produce and then we produce the report for you. So that's a neat alternative to get more people involved. Okay, Just want to go through the sort of the strategies. It's really important to take a look at this pyramid and apply it to your building. So there's, you want to benchmark and analyze your energy use. Where can you make your most, the best impacts? How old is your equipment? Because there's something called embodied energy. And if you have a new piece of equipment, there's already been a bunch of carbon that's sunk into that piece of equipment. And so you really want to have, use things efficiently to the end of life. So promoting, doing that plan, conserve, there's waste. And retro-commissioning is a great way to really look at the way you're not using energy as efficiently as you could be. Well, how are you wasting energy? And then there's, doing, energy efficiency improvements, which would be, the low-hanging fruit always is LED lighting, right? So energy efficiency and then renewable energy. Now there's one exception to that renewable energy piece. That's kind of on-site renewable energy, and that is anyone in this room can enroll in DTE's My Green Power program, which is renewable energy, and it is right now it's a voluntary program, and it's less expensive than DTE's regular energy. All right, so that's a way that you can already reduce your greenhouse gas emissions, and it's additional renewable energy in Michigan. So it's actually a pretty good first step just to automatically reduce your greenhouse gas emissions and tell DTE we need more renewable power. Yeah.
I was just going to ask you to repeat the name of the program,
Yeah.
and can you use it for residential?
Yes. You can use it for your residential or commercial, and it's My Green Power, MI, and then Green Power. And if anybody has an issue with, enrolling or whatever, we have My Green Power to contact that we can put you in touch with too. So, but there is online enrollment for it. Right. So this is sort of an electrification timeline, and I'm using, this is you think of a sorority, right? Well, I happen to be on a house corporation for a sorority, and we went through an energy audit, we went through retro-commissioning, and we went through a decarbonization plan, which we're starting to implement right now. And it talks about, even in the decarbonization plan, what do you need to do to make your building more efficient? Because once you transition to electricity is more expensive than natural gas, okay? The systems are more efficient, but the energy is more costly. So it's really important to reduce your loads first. So that's why efficiency and weatherization and all of those things are really important steps. So you don't end up paying more or having to have a larger renewable, on-site renewable solar system.
Important to reduce your what?
Your energy use
Your energy
first.
use.
Yep. Efficiency first. Efficiency is really important. Yeah. Okay. Then I want to talk a little bit about funding for efficiency, and some of this funding is also for renewables. So Debbie Dingle talked about the Inflation Reduction Act, and any individual or nonprofit can benefit from some of the rebates in the Inflation Reduction Act. We have state rebates that are supposed to roll out in 2024, in October this year. City of Ann Arbor has they have home energy advisors. So for all of you that have homes, you can look into that program. That's launching. It has launched this month. They are also rolling out some multi-family and nonprofit and commercial rebates. That program isn't online yet, but it's getting close. And that's all funded from the millage, okay? DTE has rebates. I have to say a lot of DTE rebates are relatively small, But if you're doing a project, it doesn't hurt, and a lot of the contractors will actually fill out the rebate forms for you. So, and then the other one is our Green Bank, Michigan Saves. Lots of times it's very efficient to do a larger project, but then there's a funding issue. And Michigan Saves any energy efficiency work or project. They do low, and they're also going to be getting some more funding, especially for nonprofits and for low-income renovations. So it's always good to touch base if your congregation is looking at a larger sort of energy efficiency project, to take a look at what Michigan Saves can do for you. All right, just 2 IRA rebates for congregations. This Business Energy Investment Tax Credit, the ITC, it sounds kind of funny, but basically, if you want to install a geo exchange system, you're replacing your HVAC system, it's for a nonprofit, it's 30% direct pay. So that means your bores, all the way through your heat pumps, it's a 30% rebate basically to a nonprofit, okay? Individuals can use it as a tax credit, okay? So it is a credit of that 30%. Same for solar. So a lot of people don't know that it can be used for geo exchange as well as solar, and it includes batteries, okay, for solar. Yes?
For an organization like a church, is there a limit on how much the 30% is kept at?
You know what? I don't know the fine details, but I don't think there is a cap. I mean, I know for individuals there's a cap. Yeah, but for an organization, I'm not sure that there is a cap. I'll look that up though, because I think they've finished all of the IRS has come out with all their details, because schools are using it, municipalities are using it, and nonprofits are using it. I know the overall funding for it doesn't have a cap. Yeah. The other one is the 179D, which is a tax deduction, so it's not quite as valuable as a tax credit. There are design professionals, that's a transferable deduction. So if you have a engineer or contractor or someone involved, there are ways to be able to transfer that. But if any of you own commercial properties, they basically doubled. It's up to $5 a square foot for energy efficiency improvements in an existing building. So it's a very valuable deduction. That one isn't, there's no direct pay for. The other thing, if any of you want to, the DTE Marketplace is a place where you can get, you'd be surprised what you can buy in the marketplace. They have very inexpensive LED lamps. They have smart plug load thing, that you can plug in your TV and whatever. They have strips, yes, power strips, smart power strips. They have smart thermostats. They have smart LEDs. So it's sort of a discounted, and your congregation can use it. You can use it as an individual, and DTE, they love us, right? A wonderful code for, if you do AA 2030, you get free shipping. Like I said, the rebates from DTE, sometimes they're small, but they're working with us. All right, Marketplace. This is a little bit more about the My Green Power, and this is when you go online, you can, this is the web page that comes up when you do a search for My Green Power. And it has a little calculator in it that you can put in what your kilowatt hours are per month, and whether or not you can go up to 85%. Why 85%? Because their renewable portfolio standard is supposed to be at 15% by law. I think last year it was at 12, so it's almost there. But you can enroll at 85%, and then your monthly cost is actually just a little bit lower, and you can thank the city of Ann Arbor for that. Yes. They went to bat because it used to be more expensive, and they protested that. All right. The other thing that the 2030 district offers is we have solar. If you want to look at solar on your, we don't do homes, but we do any commercial, so buildings, so it would be a business, a congregation, house of worship, nonprofit, whatever. We have solar technical assistance. What does that mean? We look at solar feasibility. We have a solar RFP template, and we have a person who will work with you to complete that template with specifications. It can include rooftop solar, it can be carport solar, it can include batteries or the future addition of batteries. And then then you can send it out and get multiple bids. And then our solar technical assistant will help you review the bids. It's very hard to get apples to apples with solar, by the way, but inform you on what the bids are and how to evaluate them. It's up to you then, to choose your solar installer. And then we also review your first bill, and then after a year we evaluate what the solar is doing and making sure it's producing what it should. We have found that DTE will charge you sales tax on your power bill after you install solar. They just reset their, and we've told them this is a problem with every single nonprofit, municipality, or whatever, and they go, we're not gonna fix it. Here's an email, you just tell this guy that you need to be tax exempt. So anyway, the other programs that we have, Solar Faithful, and Murray can talk a little bit about Solar Faithful if you're interested. It's a way of having basically an investor model. It can be an outside investor, it can be congregational investors to put solar on your congregation, on your house of worship. It also has, you can have outside investors too. Obviously, sometimes internal investors, you can negotiate and they're more of an angel investor for you. But there are ways that you can, if your congregation doesn't have capital capacity, you do it with no upfront capital. Strategy also has a similar program. They will also tag on charging stations with the solar. If you do financing with them, they will also, if you need a new roof, kind of tie in the financing with that. So there are ways, even if you're, it's very difficult for you to raise capital, ways that you can get on-site renewable. Homeland Solar and Michigan Saves are about to announce another kind of program together. I don't know the details of that program yet, but I think it's going to be a pretty good one too. So there are ways then to either outright pay for your solar, to have what's called a power purchase agreement where you don't have any capital outlay, or do a combination of raising some money and financing it. Okay, so no excuses. And the other thing I want to say, why is on-site solar important, is if you look at, if you benchmark, all right, and you do Energy Star Portfolio Manager, there are two types of energy calculations that they do. One is called source energy, and the other is site energy. Site energy is what your building uses on site. Source energy accounts for the production and the distribution of that energy. And you know what the ratio is on Energy Star Portfolio Manager? 2.8. Right. So how much energy are you saving just by generating your own power? It's huge. It's huge. So why is on-site important? It's energy efficiency. Okay? Yeah, all right. Okay, so join the district. Okay, if you are a house of worship or a nonprofit, if you own a multifamily building, property owners, managers, developers, it's free. Okay, on our website, there's a join now button. You sign up and we get in contact with you, set up your data coming in, offer you your energy audit, and get you on this pathway of decarbonization. So that's what the 2030 district does. We also have some lunch and learns on a monthly basis. They're all virtual. Our next one is on energy wastewater as an energy source. It's actually building specific and district, using, that sewage, everything that you flush down, the toilet, the shower, whatever, there's energy in there. And this is a system that actually uses it. It can be paired with GeoExchange. And then in April, we're doing a session on GeoExchange systems. And there are some new systems coming from Asia. It's going to be produced in West Michigan, and it's pretty exciting. So we do those, except we take a little break in the summer, but all sorts of technology and case studies and so forth is a great learning opportunity, and those are free. So that's kind of what we're up to. And we have our summit that's going to happen on June 26th. It's going to be at WISD. And you can sign up for our newsletter. All our events are in the newsletter. And we will have a specific session, workshop for houses of worship and nonprofits that you're all welcome to attend. And we just ask for donations for this. It isn't something that we charge for. So